Hello. Well, it looks like the Bears got a little bit of a victory, but only a very small one. And let me explain to you why that is. Bitcoin dumped all of a sudden to 40,400. It has about recovered halfway to where it was before. Probably a little bit more than halfway because when it started dumping it was like 43,400. We slowly came down over the weekend, but this is kind of expected. Once you pump so much, you expect to get a small retrace. But the Bears are not satisfied, obviously, and they're out with the knives tonight on social media. You look at some of the Super Bears, Whale Wire, 3 hours ago when Bitcoin dumped, wiped an official week's worth of gains in 6.4 minutes. And why that happened? It's because there was a huge amount of liquidations within a 20-minute period. The price of Bitcoin suddenly dropped to below 41K, wiping out about 5 days of gains. But we've been gaining for several weeks, so we haven't really wiped out nearly all the gains. But I do think this is the small reset that we actually need. So essentially, there were, I think, something like $270 million of positions wiped out, and open interest went down as well. I don't know why this was caused. Maybe some of the big corporations like BlackRock want to bring it lower so they can buy in easier. Maybe some of the big whales, Bitcoin whales, just want to do this because they took short positions. I'm actually more willing to bet on the second one than like the big corporations teaming up on this. Bitcoin is actually largely controlled by a couple of big whales, and they're not corporations. A lot of them are individuals that got into mining very, very early. We've seen these wallets from like way before, and they're generally not like BlackRock. They might be Fidelity, because I know Fidelity has been mining Bitcoin for a very long time. But the people that were mining Bitcoin in the first couple of years, some of them still hold on to their wallets, and they can influence the market by a whole lot. So I actually don't think it's the big I don't think it's the big corporations. I don't think it's the big institutions. I do think it's like single whales that are really playing this right now. Remember, Satoshi Nakamoto's wallet, which hasn't moved, still has 1 million Bitcoins in it. Guys like Michael Saylor have like 100-something thousand Bitcoins. BlackRock, I believe, has maybe 100K or so. Fidelity probably has more because remember, they've been mining Bitcoin for a long time. But there's like these bigger individual miners that were actually mining Bitcoin from way, way back. And they control a lot of it, so they're probably using it to move the market, liquidate some of the longs, because there were like over $270 million of long positions that were liquidated, plus 1.2 billion in open interest in BTC wiped out. The fear greed factor, I think, is tilting a little bit back towards fear. I think it was like 80 something before. Now it's probably way, way less in terms of like a crypto fear and greed factor. And, I think like since we're not in the euphoric mode yet and we haven't passed the all-time high, this was definitely needed because it shouldn't have actually been so high. You see, it's still 74 and it was 82 a while ago. So it's definitely like a good thing that we've wiped out a little bit of it. But definitely like this guy is saying, well, Wired, this is just a tiny teaser for what's to come. The full extent of this bloodbath will be 1,000x bigger. Don't say you haven't been warned. But this guy has been saying all year, like all the others, that we're going to 10K, which we're obviously not. So my guess is like 40K will be like a bottom. And then like if that doesn't happen, the most will drop is probably 35K. But it looks like we're actually holding 40. However, I don't know if Asia has reacted. At the time of this recording, Asia has already woken up. And this kind of happened around when Asia woke up. So maybe it was like some of the Asian whales. Remember, they mined for a long time in China before they had to sell out and close up shop. So it could have been some of those whales as well. And it could have been just Asia doing it. So we'll see what happens when North America wakes up in a couple of hours and see if we dump even more. Because there are probably more longs to be liquidated. At this point, though, I would definitely not take a short because, if people are piling up shorts, I think the whales can easily liquidate shorts as well because they have a lot of capital. I just wouldn't touch anything. I definitely would not sell because if you actually look at Bitcoin's past graph, if you look at past times we were kind of in a bull market when we were going up, we've seen these movements before. Like we've seen 36,000 all the way down to 32,000 in a very fast amount of time, but then it just went back up. Same thing here. You can see like these little pits here, like drop like $5,000-$6,000, go back up within a couple of days. So if you are actually doing that, you are risking missing out on a bigger leg up. I think a $3,000-$4,000 reset is basically all we need. I really don't think we need I honestly don't think we actually need anything more than like a $3,000 or $4,000 reset. You see, we've had these before, like 614 2021. We went from like 40 to 30K, and then we went back up almost immediately to like 52. See this right here, 36K, 32K, and then we went all the way up to 47. So you don't want to get yourself trapped in that, especially if you've been waiting for a long time for this. Don't panic and be like, oh my God, we're going to go down. Because I don't really see macro events that are coalescing to form like a big drop. Some people will say like big M's, big W's, but I don't really see any of that really happen. Those things are generally not all that dependable in this kind of market at this point. Yes, there is the Binance FUD, but I think people would just move away from Binance. Plus, remember, a lot of people have actually taken their coins off the exchanges and hold them in their own wallet now, so the effect shouldn't be that big. It's really the secondary market that's actually causing the downs. The mass liquidations, I think we just hit like a trigger point when we got to like 43,000. The whales just nudged a little bit over the edge, and then all those shorts basically got liquidated. Unless there's another gigantic batch that we're on the precipice on, I don't think we're going to go down too much. Remember, we did go down to below 41,000, so we're still about 1,000 above that. And I think there's just as a good chance that we're going to recover over like the next week as we are to go down some more. And the thing is, a lot of times with these dips, they go down initially, and then that's all they actually go down. And then they just recover. They sit there for a while, they recover. Yeah, there is fear, and some people might actually want to sell off. Obviously, Peter Schiff, our favorite shifty guy, is saying that, what's happening with Bitcoin. The thing, like what's going on with Bitcoin tonight, it's getting bigger beat down than the Eagles. And I just reminded him that, hey, you know what? If you're up by 50 points, it's okay to give up 15, especially if you're already in the fourth quarter. You're going to win at the end. So, like, you're going to win in the end anyways. And I feel like, at most there's like one more leg down. Maybe we break through 40K, but we've held like the green candle for so many months. And ironically, it was some guy that was like saying like when the retrace is going to happen. We've had like several weeks of green candles, and then Bitcoin like dumped down right afterwards. So, it was kind of a precursor. I think a lot of people have been guessing it. I was like, yeah, we could go back down to like 40. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Even 35 wouldn't be super surprising, although it definitely would be a little surprising at this time. So I think like I don't actually think like this really matters all that much. If anything, it's a good buying opportunity right now, especially if you want those meme coins that are like dumping because of this. Because like the thing is, every time we get a retrace, it is a buying opportunity. When we retrace, from 35 to 32, that was a buying opportunity. If you didn't buy then, you're stuck at 43 now. If you don't buy now, you might be stuck at 50. Just like those guys that 15, they wanted to wait for 10. Now they're all the way up at 40 something. Because once we hit that bottom with FTX, unless something else completely fell apart that people didn't expect, it just wasn't going to go down any further. And right now, all these coins are way, way higher than where they were 3 weeks ago. And if you wait longer, I feel like they'll be even higher. Like if you didn't buy Solana a couple of weeks ago, you could have had it at 24 cents. It's at 55 now. If you didn't buy, Cardano, if you didn't buy Solana, it could have had it like 20 something dollars. Now it's like $70. Doge was like 5 cents. Now it's at 9. And, like all these others are going up as well. IMX is still going up. It's still very strong. I think that partnership announcement that they were going to release some really big games, I think that's really boosting it up. I still think that's a good buy. Obviously, a lot of these things that have actually dumped right now, I think are good buys. INJ is up. I'm not exactly sure why. But, most of this is like a sea of red now, red right now. You could wait another day because altcoins probably will continue dumping a little bit tomorrow as well. But I wouldn't really bet on that either because it could do a reverse. There could be another dump once the U.S. wakes up at 8 or 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. But crypto is 24 hours, so the effect's probably not that big. Obviously, some of the greed sentiment has changed to fear, but overall, people are still kind of greedy right now. And right now, like you still got the ETFs. You still got the halving and everything going for Bitcoin. Some people are saying this is a pre-halving dump. I mean, I guess you could call like a 5% dump like a pre-halving dump. But I think like, since we've gone up from 35 to 45 very quickly, we did need some kind of a retrace to balance things out. And now we've kind of gotten that. So I think the lowest I would actually set my buy orders is maybe around 35K. I would definitely set some above 40K just in case it doesn't dump anymore, which is very, very likely. And, you know, like you might want to do some spot buys right now as well because you did get like a small retrace. And the last couple of times you didn't buy on the small retrace, you just waited until it got higher and higher and higher. And that might well happen again because once actually things start running, it's very, a lot of times they just don't really come back down. You see like this graph right here. From like the end of 2020 to like into 2021. Yeah, there were these small dips, you know, like 9,000 to 6K. And then you have like 12K to like 10K. By the way, it's all these percentage wise were greater than this dump right now. And then you have like this thing right here. But generally, it's almost a complete way up. And if you don't buy on those small dips, you lose your opportunity for a little bit of chance to buy slightly cheaper. So let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.